Lines and I'm a marketing manager for Tor UK.
I'm Matt Hayes, a key account manager.
I'm James Lang, I'm Editorial Director for Digital at Pam Macmillan, and I work very closely with the Tor Books team.
Hi, I'm Neil Lang and I am the designer on sci-fi fantasy list here at Macmillan.
I knew what I was going to say next, but I've forgotten it. So, supply me with something, say something, start talking about something.
Someone like Peter F. Hamilton, who we've obviously enjoyed lots of success with, The Evolutionary Void, which came out in September and it went straight into the top 10. We did a feature with SFX. Jonathan Wright, who's a brilliant interviewer, kind of got in touch with Peter really early on so that they could kind of create almost like a diary for Peter of a diary of a space opera to watch how how it was progressing from his early writing stages.
We are busy redeveloping our website because it needs a bit of updating, but that's quite a big project. So certainly for next year, it'll mostly be author websites. A great example is this one, shadowsoftheapt.com, which is for Adrian Tchaikovsky's series. It's essentially his blog, but the nice thing is we've added not only an events page but a world page where you get to learn more. So it's world building material really, so there's a map of the world and there is artwork of all the different insect kingdoms. So the ebook of the first volume of the series, Empire in Black and Gold, has got some of this content in it, so if you go and get the ebook you get extra stuff.
Are there particular types of books you really enjoy doing covers for? Like the spacey ones with the spaceships, or sort of really intense, menacing, coloured ones?
They're both really. I mean, we've got, say, the Shadows of the App series that we're doing. These are always interesting in that the author sends us sketches of these characters.
Oh, right.
We get sort of little sketches, and then from that we come up with sort of a more finished illustration. So here's where we ended up. There's such crazy creatures and characters that you do need a little help sometimes with some of them. Even describing them in words is so difficult, but when you've got a visual thing, it's so much easier to work from that.
Do you find it helps more if the author sends in pictures like that, or if sometimes you're just like, oh, that's not good?
I think normally I'd have to say no, but yeah. On this one I think he really does, because he's got something in mind really, that's quite personal to him as well, I guess. So I think on this it really did help.
Acquisitions are particularly exciting when something comes in that Julie, for example, the Tor publisher, would send down, and she says, this is a really exciting book, everyone's going for it, all the other publishers are in the mix at the same time, and you have to go home that night, read it overnight, and you come back next morning and say, it's fantastic, let's go, let's get it. Yeah. So I love that kind of excitement about the books.
You get the chance to read through all of your books, or does it sometimes get to the point where you're like, oh no, not that one?
Well, if you're going out there and talking about books, you have to know what you're talking about.
Are there ever some books where you think, oh my god, I don't know how I'm going to promote this?
There are.
It's...
Like if I absolutely, because looking outside of just Tor for a second, you might be doing publicity for a book whose author died 20 years ago.
We did this last year for Hitchhikers, which was really my favourite project of the year. It was the 30th anniversary of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy last year, and we did wonderful print reissues where for book one you had a blank space background as your cover, and there was an insert of stickers that you could make your own cover, do yourself covers. We also added some extras as we're talking about here, so lots of cool stuff, past covers of the book, Stephen Fry reading from the audiobooks, Marvin on Twitter tweeting about life in the universe and everything.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, it was really good, and it was so much fun doing that. My favourite comment from Twitter about him was that he was refreshingly downbeat.
Know what really makes me mad? They clean me with a Brillo pad. A car wash wouldn't be so bad. Life, don't talk to me about life.
It's a nice showpiece really of how digital can kind of start to give you an experience around the book in the same way as you might get an experience from meeting the author or from the physical packaging of the book. That stuff can always be pretty good fun.
Are there any that you're still working on that we can have a little look at?
Among Thieves, actually, that's one that's almost there.
I'm also really excited about Among Thieves by Douglas Hulick.
We saw the beginnings of the title pages for that
Oh,
downstairs.
good. Okay, what did you think?
It's good. It looks good, yeah. Judging by the cover.
The Reapers of the Angels is a book I'm really excited about because it has real crossover potential, and in sales that's something that we're...
Sorry to interrupt. I just wondered if any of you have seen The White Rabbit, perhaps, anywhere?
No,
White
we're
Rabbit?
doing an interview.
Sorry. Stationery.
Thanks,
Always in the
thanks.
stationery cupboard.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's where you should go. Sorry.
Happens quite
It does.
often then.
Yeah, we like to distract any interviewers or retailers that come in. Bit of magic is never a bad thing.
I think it is. But whatever, carry on. Books.
Reapers, yes. Sorry, it's that rabbit still. But it's an apocalyptic zombie thriller. So what could be more
Epic.
exciting than that?
This is such a personal favourite
Yeah.
for so many of us.
Zombies.
Yeah.
Central character is that frightening looking
The
girl
really
on the
little
cover.
She is. She's just one of the best protagonists, isn't
Yeah,
she?
absolutely.
She'll stay with me for a long
Yeah.
time.
She carries a Gurkha knife with her, which which she uses to fend off these horrible creatures.
And I was so happy to read kind of someone exploring narrative in the way that he does.
The writing of it is fantastic, and it's something that you don't often see in a clearly
Yeah.
thriller, fantasy style writing. We're comparing it to The Road in that respect.
Just so well written.
So it's out
Zombies.
in hardback now and then paperback next year.
Yeah.
I'm also really excited about Heaven's Shadow, which is a newly acquired book by David Goyer, who's Christopher Nolan's scriptwriter for Batman.
I like that. Then you're gonna love me.
That's brilliant. It's a kind of, it's really like a political thriller in space. It's really kind of Michael Crichton-esque. It starts very kind of mainstream space race, and then it just goes off into this amazing real SF tangent.
Like you said with the authors that have been dead for so long, but with the Pan Book of Horror, I have noticed it seems to be at all the events I seem to be going to, it's Pan Book of Horror.
Oh,
Pan Book of Horror.
good.
Oh, right, Pan Book of Horror. Yeah, what's that about again?
What we did do for the Pan Book of Horror Stories was to split out the individual stories, so we've made an ebook per story.
Oh, right.
The great thing about it is, if you just want something quick to read, especially on the phone maybe, then it's 99p and it's one story, and it kind of links you through to the other ones if you're interested.
Being a bit of a collector of Pan Book of Horror memorabilia, these two are original bookmarks, obviously I've reprinted, from a couple of earlier Pan Book of Horror publications that they created back in the 70s, I think. So we were able to stick them in some bookmarks and get them back out there.
It's an exciting time for short stories because they're a format that had sort of
Easy to
gone
read on
very
the bus.
quiet, but I think digital is actually going to be give a real new life to short stories.
These sort of badges,
So they'll be
they're
given out
amazing.
at,
Release the Kraken.
That was obviously for Charlie Mayfield's hardback Kraken. So they were given out at So they were given to retailers, and they were used at his signings and events
And that
things.
phrase
So
kept being
yeah, I mean, we
online.
used it on our
Release the
advertising as
Kraken.
well. So it's just a man's we took out in Sci-Fi Now and SFX, and just repeated the message.
Oh.
So that's one thing I will say about science fiction fantasy authors. They are the most dedicated, I'd say. I'm a bit biased, but they're the loveliest guys.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
pleasure to deal with, because they're
Such geniuses in their fields. They have so much knowledge around science fiction publishing. I mean, they're brilliant for pub quizzes. Just get them on your team, you always win.